You know that feeling when you're around people who you could consider your friends, and on the outside it appears that they are your friends, but there's just something a little off. And internally, you don't feel very good about it, but you go through the motions anyway because you're like, well, these are my friends. These are the people who I spend the most time with. These are my family, you know, whoever they may be to you. But you feel like you do more for them than they do for you, and it feels like a very one-sided connection. Well, that may be because you aren't getting your needs met in that connection. And just like how we need to have boundaries to keep the right people in and the wrong people out and to keep us on track, we also have to be aware of our own personal needs. And those are going to be different for everyone, just the same way as boundaries are different for everyone. They're going to revolve around your values and what makes you feel seen, heard, safe, cared for, loved, appreciated, all of the above. And most of all, the things that make you feel fulfilled in your connections with others. But if we aren't even aware of what we need within ourselves, it's going to be really hard to communicate that to others and to get those needs met. Hey, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This video is all about how to figure out what your needs are so that you can meet them and also get them met from the closest people to you or whoever is in your life. Because the thing about needs is not everyone is going to meet all of them, but if we have a few specific key ones that we need other people to meet as a standard, then they have to meet those needs or they can't be in our life. And guess what? The best way to get other people to meet your needs is to meet your own needs first, the same way we do with boundaries. I know I've made a lot of videos where I've mentioned having healthy boundaries with yourself and other people, because that is something I'm really working on in my personal life right now. I realized that not only do I need to have boundaries with other people and myself, I also need to be aware of what my needs are with myself and with others. Because if I don't know what they are, then I can't be upset when other people aren't meeting my needs. So just like we have boundaries and we have standards, we also have needs. The best way to figure out what your needs are is to take a second and reflect on your current relationships. Which ones feel the most fulfilling and which ones don't. And to make a list of the things that feel the most fulfilling out of those relationships, you can also list the things that don't feel fulfilling and then take what the opposite of that would be to be more fulfilling. So for example, let's say you have a friend that is very inconsistent with responding to your text messages. So sometimes you could hear back from her within a day, sometimes it might be 2 months. So the need that you would have within your friendships would be to have responsiveness. People who respond within a timely manner, whatever that is to you. For myself, it depends on the friend and the friendship and how we communicate on a regular basis, but I would say responsiveness to me would be within a day up to a week, depending on what it is and how urgent it may be. But if it's a really, really close person or maybe more like a relationship, I would say tops a day. If it's an emergency, you get 1 hour to respond back. Kidding, but also not kidding at the same time, because like, who knows? What if my car broke down and I need help? Mom, help. I guess that's what AAA is for, you know? But still, we all have our own individual needs and they're gonna be different for everyone based off of what our values are, our preferences, our traumas, the things that we do on a regular basis, the way we live our lives, our lifestyle. There's just so many factors that come into play. So I will definitely share with you some of my key needs in my close personal friendships, but there's a good chance that they're not going to be the same for you. So that's why you really need to take a good long look at your family dynamics, your friendship dynamics, your romantic relationship dynamics, your dating dynamics, whatever. All of those things, you got to take a good hard look at them and see what has worked for you in the past, what is working for you right now, what hasn't worked for you in the past, what isn't working for you right now, and collectively make a list of 5 to 10 needs that you need to be met for a person to stay in your life. And not everyone who is a part of your life is going to meet all your needs, but I would say the top 1 to 3 people need to meet at least all of them for you to consider them a close personal, like best friend, romantic partner, life partner, business partner, whatever it is for you. There needs to be at least 1 to 3 people that will meet all your needs and that you know you can truly rely on for you to feel fulfilled. Then with everyone else in your life, they're the type of people who meet some of your needs and not all of them, and that's okay. And as long as you know which needs they're meeting and which needs they aren't, you're good. Like, you know what to go to them for and you know what not to go to them for. And you have different people for different areas and categories, and that's how you can have a symbiotic relationship with that person, because they're meeting your needs where you need them met and you're meeting their needs where they need them met, and then the other needs, you have other people for that. So getting very clear about these things will make it so that you have much more positive and thriving relationships. Just the same way having boundaries works, where some people, the closer people to you, may have less boundaries, whereas people who are a little further away from you are going to have probably more boundaries because they're not your closest partner in crime. So the process we use to figure out our boundaries is a very similar process that we are going to use to figure out what needs we have and who needs to meet them. Okay, so you can either pause the video right now or you can do this at the end, but we're going to come up with the 5 to 10 needs that we need to be met so that we feel fulfilled in our relationships and connections. So do that. Here are mine. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8, I think. First one is communication. Second one is integrity. Third one is connection. Fourth one is respect. Fifth one is support. Sixth one is trust. And 7 is understanding. And 8 is responsiveness. Not only did I pick 8 words of things that I need to happen so that I can feel fulfilled, I described it in detail for myself so that I have a clear understanding of it and can express that clearly to other people. Because if I say, oh, I have a need for communication, that could be seen in a multitude of different ways. Like, what is communication to you? Is that communication via calling on the phone? Is that communication via text? Is that communication via meeting in person? Like, what does that mean to me? And how can I share that with another person so that they can understand that correctly? I will read you off what I wrote for communication. I wrote, I need others to communicate with me their thoughts, feelings, and what they need from me so that I can understand them, they can understand me at any given time, and that we feel comfortable communicating those things to each other. I left it very open-ended because I feel like the way I communicate with each person in my life is very different, and I feel like every connection that I have is unique in its own way. So by keeping it open-ended, that makes the most sense to me, because with each individual connection that I have to another person, it's going to be customized and tailored to our connection. Okay, I'll give you guys another example of what I wrote for understanding, because I feel like this is a very important one. I need others to be willing to understand my feelings, needs, intentions, and respond by doing their best to accommodate to them. So not only do I want others to try to understand me, but I want them to also take everything that I share with them into consideration and consider me and try to accommodate to what would be best for me if that works for them as well. Obviously, if it doesn't work for them, I don't want people to force themselves to meet my needs. I just want them to be able to realize, oh, that is something I can do. I can meet that need for you, Julia. Or you know what, Julia, I can't. And we're not compatible, and I'm going to go my way and you go your way, and we're doing so in peace and understanding, because what works for me doesn't work for you. So I think being very clear about what you need, then you can have a much better understanding of your compatibility with the people in your life versus maybe the incompatibilities with the people in your life, and if you can make that work or not. Because a lot of times we'll have people in our lives that we're just not compatible with, whether it's friendship, work, or relationship. There's some people that just don't make sense with each other, and we have to accept that for what it is so that we can make room and attract in the people that we are compatible with. And I'll give you one more example. This is what I wrote for responsiveness. I wrote, I need others to be responsive to my messages / calls so that I feel seen, heard, and prioritized. I also kept responsiveness pretty open-ended because it's always different with different people, and the urgency can definitely vary as well. So as long as I still feel valued and prioritized in the way that makes sense to me, then the responsiveness is cool. But it's pretty open-ended for a reason, because just like for all of them and all of my connections, they are custom to me and that person. So again, either pause this video or do this at the end, but write out a detailed, like 1 to 2 sentences about each need that you have and how you need them met. And as you're making these needs, you're going to realize there's a lot of people in your life that probably don't meet them, and some of those people, it's not even their fault really. It's because you never expressed this need or shared it with them. So it will take time to implement these needs, just the way it takes time to implement boundaries. So if a good friend of yours isn't meeting your need right away or isn't meeting your need right now before you've even shared it, then don't just write them off completely as your friend, because you need to at least give them the chance to try to meet your need or needs first. Eventually, the people in your lives will start to meet those needs as you express them to them, And if they don't, then they will slowly vibrate out of your life, just the way people who don't meet your boundaries will vibrate out of your life, because you're going to be like, wait, this friendship feels really one-sided. I'm going to spend less time in it and spend more time with the friendships where your needs are being met, and it does feel dual-sided, not one-sided. It feels like a two-way street. And for the people that don't, like I said, you'll slowly vibrate out or grow apart or drift away, because you're not going to want to spend time around people that you feel like you're giving more and you're not mutually benefiting in that connection. And just like when you set boundaries, you have to honor those boundaries first before you can expect other people to honor your boundaries. It is the same process when it comes to meeting your needs. You have to meet your own needs first before you can start expecting other people to meet those needs for you or with you, because you can't just stop meeting your needs because other people are meeting them. You have to continuously meet your needs just as much as other people need to continuously meet your needs. So it starts by looking at that detailed list of needs that we wrote out that we need other people to meet, and taking that and promising to yourself to meet all those needs with yourself. So I'll give you guys some examples of this. The way I would meet my need for communication within myself would be to start communicating with myself about my thoughts, feelings, and what I need. So that could look like journaling every morning, all the thoughts in my head, all the feelings I'm feeling, then asking myself, what do I need to do with this information that I have now journaled? And then going and doing what I need to do based off of the information from my thoughts and feelings. I could also do that process through meditation or just sitting with myself and being really present with the sensations in my body, the thoughts that are going through my head, and then asking myself, what can I do from here? How can I meet the needs that I am feeling within, the thoughts that I have in my mind? How can I make myself feel seen and heard and fully honor and respect that within me? So that would be how I would meet my need for communication first before I start going to other people to meet that communication need. Here's the example that I did for understanding. I wrote, I promise to be willing to understand my feelings, needs, intentions, and respond by doing my best to accommodate them, which is basically the same thing that I would do for communication with myself, and really put an emphasis on understanding, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Why am I thinking this way? What were my intentions? What are my intentions here? And then adjusting my actions based on that. And then my example for responsiveness within myself, I wrote, I promise to be responsive to my own internal messages so that I feel seen, heard, and prioritized. An example of this would be, let's say I feel really hungry, but I just want to override that feeling and get my work done. Sometimes that can be fine to do depending on the amount of hunger that is going on. But if I am like really hungry and my body is about to shut down, overriding that feeling to finish my work is not going to be beneficial to me. So I really need to respond to that feeling of hunger and feed myself, and then I can finish my work. My camera died, but I am back. But for this step, you're gonna need to take all of those needs that you wrote out for other people to meet in detail, and then rewrite them as promises to yourself of how you are going to meet those needs within you for yourself. And it's gonna look a little different than how other people are going to meet them, but I think you guys get from my examples that communication with yourself is an internal thing. You're not gonna like go and text yourself, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this. You're gonna actually just sit with yourself and be present, be mindful. That's how communication with yourself would look, is to actually just listen to what is going on with your mind, your emotions, your body, your spirit, your soul. You're gonna need to communicate and listen to yourself on every level. Same with understanding, same with responsiveness. You're gonna have to respond in the physical realm to your needs that are in the mental and emotional and spiritual realms. But once you can start practicing meeting those needs with yourself on a daily basis, it's gonna be second nature for other people in your life to meet those needs, just the way when you practice respecting and honoring your boundaries on a daily basis is, it makes it second nature for other people to honor and respect your boundaries. This is a process that is going to take effort and consistency, and nothing is going to change overnight. I promise you, the more you stick with this, the easier it will get, and the more you will start to see results, and those results will motivate you to continuously meet your needs day in and day out. That is it for this week's video. I hope it helped you. I will see you all in next week's video. I love you guys so much. Bye!